You sure?
Of course.
Good morning, Minister. How are you?
Good morning, I'm well.
Trinidad and Tobago, I have in studio with me, I can say this, my sister. I can say this. You know, the formalities and all the. This is my sister, the Honorable. Why are you laughing? Why are you laughing?
No, well, people may not know the history, you see.
We have history. We have, you know me when I was slim. That's how long you know me. You knew me when I was slim and trim.
And you knew me before I had children.
Yeah, yeah. That's as far as you want to go with it? Or you want me to tell them, give them a little more history of how we be...
That's enough.
No, we can tell them how you used to... Oh, I know, you used to sing. And you know, you're singing for a beautiful voice. You know, you and our friend who passed away, Roxanne.
Yeah, Roxanne who passed. Kian. My sister Nicole, yeah. Carlene.
Why you want to do a little reunion?
Well, we'll have to put that into the
calendar.
The calendar, yes.
So Trinidad and Tobago, if you don't know and you're listening to the lovely voice in the background, or not in the background, who with me today, I have the Minister of Education, the Honorable Nyan Gadsby Dolly.
Pleasure to be here.
It's an honor to have you here with me. This is long overdue. But you are here, and there are so much things to talk about. There are a lot of things I want to talk to you about, you know. But I want to make sure that you're comfortable. You're comfortable?
Comfortable enough. Just checking my time.
Oh, cool. What time you have to leave?
Well, about 12.
No, you're staying with me until a little after 12. I'm a little after 12
Plenty things to do today.
I know.
School opening. Plenty things to do today. So come, let's go.
Seeing that you're starting with school opening, how is that? Well, people are wondering, are we ready for Monday? School is opening on Monday. Are we ready?
You know, the amazing thing is we've had schools in this country for so many years, and it's still always an issue. But I think the sentiment really comes from the fact that we always have so much repair to do on schools. Yeah. And as I always emphasize, school repair is not a vacation thing. School repair happens all through the school year. What happens in vacation, we ramp up as much as we can to ensure that our schools are in the best shape that we can afford for students to attend. It is a fact, and I will say it without any apology, the amount of money we require for school repair to be complete and for us to be in a state where we're just dealing with preventive maintenance would be in excess of $2 billion. Okay. We don't have that available. Okay. So for contrast, what we get annually in the budget to deal with school repair is just about 150 million. And I'm speaking about us needing $2 billion if we want to get to that point. Right. So it's always a situation of trying to balance and to triage what's most important. So it is not that we don't see there are things needed in schools. Certainly, we'd love to repaint all our schools, fix all of our school signage. Those are things that are critical and add to the morale of the students who are attending the schools. But when you have to juxtapose that with fixing a sewer system or an electrical system, we have over 50 schools that are close to 100 years old, some over 100 years old. So it's always, what do we do first with the money available to us? And so it's generally, some things take priority. Sewer, electrical systems, plumbing, because you must have water.
Yes.
So these are the things that take priority, and we have so much of that it's a little more difficult to deal with some of the other things that are important, but the school can go on without it. So I'll be the first to acknowledge that there are critical repairs that need to be done, and there are some things that we can do immediately, some things we have to do the most important parts of it and continue it while school goes on. So for example, we have a real-time chat that deals with school repair. So up to this morning, you would find in some schools, primary school principals, and let me say that as well, primary school principals are on vacation in the July-August period.
Right.
Some people don't realize that secondary school principals are not. So primary school principals, many of them would go back out to school today. Okay. Some of them for the first time for the vacation period. Some of them, of course, would have been in the school, depending on what their plans were. And so at this time, you would get coming into the ministry a lot of reports. Some of them ceiling falling because they might have had a little leak, and during the rains and so on that would have taken place. Like this week, a lot of rain, you would find that in some cases you would have had saturation and a ceiling fall, sewers overflowing. That's something that happens with a lot of rainfall as well. So these are things that are happening now. Today, I'm speaking. Wow. School is opening on Monday. Yeah. So this concept of, are all schools ready? We do all that we can to get the schools ready, but there are going to be things that will come up along the way, and as much as we can handle before the start of school, we will. And if there are things that go on then we will deal with them as quickly as possible as well.
Is it that principals will make recommendations on repairs that the schools would need?
Yes, they do. We have an online system, and they do send quite a lot. Okay. And when I speak about the figure, that 2 billion, it is because I'm referencing all of the complaints that have come in from the different schools on that system that we are aware of, that we need to address, some of them more serious than others. And we have actually costed what that looks like. And it's about $2 billion.
Wow.
Which you don't have available to us.
Right. And you have to balance that off with a lot of other things that the ministry
of
has
course.
to embark on. I'm seeing where I just want to throw this in because I saw it making its rounds around social media, where you would have addressed a situation with a school book, where the book list, and somebody would have done a concerned citizen would have done a video on it, and you would have reached out to that citizen, which I want to commend you on, to let them know that, hey, this is not in my purview, but I can find out for you what is really the requirements for the child for school.
Well, if it's the one I'm thinking about, she reached out to me. She is one of my WhatsApp people. I think everybody knows by now I have a very open WhatsApp number. Once you WhatsApp me, I guarantee a response. It's very rare for me to not respond to a WhatsApp. And she was accustomed WhatsApping me before. Okay. So when she actually WhatsApped me about the situation, she did tell me that she had made a video previous to our conversation. And what I explained to her is that what we have done for the past 2 years at the ministry, we have frozen the book list. So the standard 3 book list of, say, San Juan SDA Primary, which is primary school I went to, the standard 3 book list for that school should have remained the same since 2022.
Okay.
Right? So, of course, if a child is moving from standard 2 to standard 3, they would have a new book list. But that standard 3 book list should have been the same for the past 2 years.
Right.
So what that meant is that students who were in standard 3 previously could sell back their books. Or if they have a sibling in a lower class that is going to come into that class, they could have used their books. So that is what happened. In some cases, some parents had the conception that the frozen book list meant that they're not supposed to buy new books for a new class. But you would need to buy new books for a new class,
yes.
Right? But of course, the book list itself should not have changed for any class for the past 2 years. So that is what it was. So in the case of the young lady, what she had sent to me was a book list that it was very detailed in itemizing the pencils and the different things. And so I spent some time with her explaining that based on my experience with my own children, some schools send a book list that's a little more condensed, and this one was just detailed in terms of, so example, they had about 10 storybooks, and they said you could choose 2. So it wasn't that you had to buy all 10 and so on. So I explained to her, it didn't seem to me that the book list was anything so different from what usually comes. It's just the presentation of it. And so we had a chat on that.
Yeah. Wow. I want to publicly thank you for doing that, because there are some persons who think that you all are untouchable or unreachable, and she would have done another video saying that you would have cleared up a whole lot of misconception, and that is really, really good. I want to thank you.
I mean, I try to take that role very seriously, even though you can imagine how much time I have to spend on my phone along with everything else. But I think it's important for persons to be able to reach out to those that represent them. I mean, this facility was really for my constituents who, you want to maintain contact with them as much as possible. But once your number is out there, other people are going to get it. They are going to message you. And I can tell you that I do spend a lot of time, trying to deal with the public, to assist in any way I can, offer clarifications, help in any way I can, because I think that's really what we're there for.
So tell me, there are some challenges where the curriculum is concerned, where some teachers are saying that there are some children who have challenges.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
And the curriculum is not reaching them. So let's say if you have a young man who may be, let's say, dyslexic, and he has to, this is now much more challenging for him. And I just wanted to find out from you, how does the ministry deal with situations like that?
All right, so I'll explain what the ideal situation is, understanding that it doesn't always work the way it should.
Okay.
So there is a process in the school called the school-based intervention team. That is made up of the principal and a few of the senior teachers in some cases. The principal can choose who makes up the team, and that team is supposed to meet every 2 weeks. At that time, teachers of every class are supposed to forward issues they have with students. So, for example, a young man may be in infants. The young man or young lady may not be grasping the information. That information is supposed to come up to the school-based intervention team when it is submitted by the teacher. And that team is supposed to discuss what could be the possible solutions for that particular child and advance that to the teacher. So it may be that they say, okay, let's call in the parent and have a chat with the parent. That might work in some instances to clear up issues. It may be something that the parent needs to do at home. If that doesn't work and a chat with the parent or whatever the initial intervention doesn't work, it's supposed to come back to that team, because remember, they're meeting every 2 weeks.
Okay.
And then we may need to call in the Student Support Services Division. That division has the special education instructors. That division has diagnostic specialists. We have child psychologists also working with that division. So the issue is supposed to be referred to the Student Support Services Division, where a closer look at what is going on with that particular child can be made. It might be a social issue for a school social worker, or it might be a situation where the child needs to be assessed and needs to be checked to see if they have a learning disability or so. That is the role of Student Support Services. So they are now supposed to get involved if the problem could not be solved at the school level. And they now are supposed to do the assessment of the child and start to work with the child to understand how they can best reach this child. There are also cases where some students may require a student aid. Yeah. We have over 400 student aides now working throughout Trinidad. And that is, again, another step to help the individual child. So the problem is supposed to be brought forward by the teacher. It could also be brought forward by the parent based on the child's performance or behavior. And then it is dealt with at the school level. If it can't be dealt with there, then the school social workers or the diagnostic specialists or the behavioral specialists, they come in there. That is the ideal way it is supposed to work. Of course, there are instances where it works for some children, it does not, because you may not get a referral from a teacher or a parent. You may also have a backlog in some cases depending on the district and the number of students referred. Right. So there are different stages along the way where sometimes it does not work as it should. Right. And so what we are doing now at the ministry is, one, trying to beef up the number of support persons available. Student Support Services Division has almost 800 staff members in it. That is bigger than some ministries. So the management of the unit is very important. We have a very experienced manager at the unit now. She's been there for, I think, just over 2 years. Okay. And so she is working now to put in place the systems to monitor that things are happening as they should. With such a big unit and the fact that you're dealing with the whole island, things can slip. And therefore systems have to be put in place to ensure that persons are doing what is required. Both the teachers and the staff of the SSSD directly, as well as the information going to parents, so parents can understand this is what is supposed to happen. And if it's not happening, how you demand that it does happen, because we want to serve our children in the best way. And we understand that that's not always not a perfect world,
yeah.
right? So I've explained the general system that should happen, and a lot of parents message me, and I encourage them, go and speak to your principal. If there's an issue with your child and you feel the child is not doing as well as they should, even up to this week someone messaged me, your first step is to speak to the teacher and ask the teacher to be referred to student support services. If that is not happening, go to the principal. But the child must get referred to student support services to get the kind of help that they should. The intervention must be made.
Beautiful. And seeing that you're talking about intervention and help, I see that you have put together a package for parents who genuinely need help. So this is the grant I'm going into now. And I want to find out from you how has that that whole
Process.
went through.
Okay.
Because you hear all sort of talks,
Yeah.
People saying, what about parents who do have internet, who genuinely need the help? And I would have heard you made mention. I know I just follow you a little bit now. And I heard you said that you would have reached out to counselors to assist persons who don't have access to internet and stuff like that. You would have spoken to principals and teachers, people in the community, you know, and I just want to plug in for my mom here, because my mom would have took your advice and help certain parents in the community to be able to fill out the form and get the grant. So I heard putting in a blog again for another radio announcer saying he was boasting about you, saying that you were able to give $9 million. Is it that is the amount?
Well, it's more than that now.
It's more than that now.
So the book grant, of course, was a fiscal measure announced by Minister of Finance in the last budget.
Right.
So the first thing we did as the Ministry of Education, we liaised with Ministry of Social Development to find out if the easiest way to pay this grant was through social development, because it is a social measure, right? However, they weren't set up. When you looked at both ministries and the ability to pay the grant as quickly as possible, it was clear that the better route was to go through the Ministry of Education at this time. Right. Because, for example, what we were trying to find out is, could we take the persons who are on the food card or getting public assistance, determine whether they have children and just pay the grant to them, see that they're already in the social system, right? And they would have been means tested and all of that would have been done. But based on the way they collect information at this time, it wouldn't have been as simple as we thought it would have been. So we determined that, okay, between us, the Ministry of Education was the one that is best poised to move forward with it. So then we sent out the applications and so on for persons to apply. And we would, of course, put it widely on social media. I know that counselors were helping. We asked principals if persons did not have access to internet at their homes, that the schools assist them in filling out the forms and so on. And 26,000 odd persons would have applied for the book grant. Right? Of that, 20,000 applications were successful. And
Wait a minute, you're talking too quick. You're talking too quick. How much persons you said qualified?
20,000.
Minister, you're saying 20,000 persons, you know?
Yes, 20,000. And to add to that...
Check your phone. Check and see. Somebody messaging you and telling you, Minister, no, you're saying the wrong thing.
Of course, 20,000. And to add to that, as of yesterday's figure, we would have sent, based on what we sent to the different banks and what we sent for checks, because some persons don't have bank accounts, we would have sent out over 19,000 of those payments already. And I want to really thank the staff of the ministry, because this Minister, is not a usual function.
If I didn't have a bank account,
we had to give you a check. So we send the checks to the district offices and we advise persons where to go and collect the check.
Minister, I do have an ID card.
Well, he needed an ID card to apply. He needed an ID card, right? Because we have to have proof.
I tried to see how I can get you So, Minister, you're saying to me, because, you know, some people saying that $1,000 wasn't enough,
Well,
No,
it's
I have
assistance, eh? It's
but
assistance.
minister, I have a son going secondary school.
It's assistance.
He going into Form 2. You know the size of the book list?
I know. But it's
But
assistance.
minister, you shaking a girl with assistance.
Well, you see. Me too.
You do?
Me too.
No, man.
But of course, we chose the most vulnerable
Right.
to give that grant to. And I want to really thank the staff of the ministry because, as I said, this is not a usual function of the Ministry of Education.
Right.
So we had to devise a process. We had to assign staff who have other normal, regular duties
Yeah.
to ensure that we got this done. And I know that some people reached out and said that they weren't getting through on the WhatsApp, they weren't getting a response on the email. I just want them to understand that as much as the staff are trying to respond, they're also trying to get the grants out. It's the same group
staff.
of people. We didn't hire new people. We don't have the funding to hire new people to do it. So, I mean, I must apologize on their behalf that in some cases they weren't able to respond to persons as quickly or even at all as possible, but they have been working really hard to get it out.
You think that there might have been more persons who would have needed assistance and just...
I am sure because a lot of people, reached out and said, when the grant was being paid,
Yeah.
how can we apply?
Oh.
But we posted it, we encouraged persons, we even extended the deadline to encourage people to apply for the grant.
Wow.
So if it comes again,
Yeah.
we would be encouraging persons again to take advantage. And want to encourage persons, follow the ministry's Facebook page or Instagram. We are even on TikTok. Follow us because that's the only way you can get information readily. And not just us, but all of the government ministries that offer services and resources for our citizens. Ministry of Youth Development and National Service, Ministry of Community Development and Sport and Community Development, Ministry of Tourism and Culture and the Arts. We need our people, especially our young people, our parents, to follow our pages because I can tell you, we don't have the funding available to advertise in the newspaper. And even if we did, a lot of the same people I'm speaking about would not see it because they don't really buy the physical paper.
Yeah.
A lot of them are online.
Yeah.
So we are in the online space and we are in the social media, we are on the platforms. Please follow us so the information will come up on your feed.
Well, Minister, I on YouTube, how much people we have watching us now. You could have come and throw a little ad here. You know what I mean?
Ad is money, ad is money.
Minister, come on, man, you could have do a little thing by us. But other than that, but I'm seeing where the ministry did a little drive here with glasses and things.
Yes.
So
we're doing quite a lot.
What we seeing there? What's this
So,
about?
the ministry has an adopter school program.
Right.
The adopter school program is where we invite corporate Trinidad and Tobago, civil society, even individuals, to pour into the lives of our young people in our schools. So we are saying we have an assigned person with an assigned phone number and email. So corporate Trinidad and Tobago, if you're interested in helping a school, and we hope you are interested because education is good business, come to us and come with your projects, or we have collected information from the schools in terms of what they need.
Right.
So we can also direct you in terms of what you can do. So one of the things that we wanted to focus on was the vision screening in our schools of focus. I say this all the time and I'll say it again. We have 106 schools of focus. These schools are in a program where we are applying more and more resources to them because they need the resources to increase school performance and student performance. We want these schools to do better. So in these schools, we have a project. We approached the TTMF and we approached Unicoma, and we have a project that's ongoing where they're doing vision screening in 40 of our schools of focus, our primary schools, and they are supplying the eyeglasses. So Unicoma is doing the screening and the testing, and TTMA has stepped in to supply the funding for the glasses. So we have completed 38, screening in 38 of our schools of the 40, and we have been supplying the glasses for the students.
No, man. Well, you have to get something here, something here for you. I'm going to give you something here. I have something here for you for that, man. What? But Minister, that is not talked about. You ain't much talk about that. Nah, man, Minister, take this, take this, take this, take this.
Half of the teams have worked very diligently to get these projects off.
Yeah.
I thank you, because it's a team that, you know, really is working hard to do that and so much more at the ministry. The ministry is a very, very broad ministry, and as much as we try to, you know, promote all the things that we are doing, it's a lot.
Wow. I'm seeing new... What is this about?
This new and integrated approach to learning, that will be part of our digital transformation thrust. And of course, we are working very hard on the digital end.
Right.
At this time, we are happy that we have been working with iGov TT to introduce two really important projects. One is an online numeracy project that we are working on again for our schools of focus. You see, at the Ministry of Education, we are looking very seriously at equity in educational opportunity. There are some children, many of them going to these schools of focus, that are not as privileged as the other children to have parental involvement and to have community encouragement. And we want to put more into these schools to assist them. So we have been working with iGov TT as part of our digital transformation in the ministry, and so we are working with them to get a numeracy solution. So what that is, many parents may be familiar with it. I certainly used one for my children when they were in primary school. They can go onto a program and it tests them in different areas of math.
Right.
And so it will give them some explanations and some questions. When they do the questions, based on what they get wrong, they will get marked immediately. Based on what they get wrong, they will get some more questions now. They will get some corrections and then more questions in those areas to help them in their practice and to make sure they are understanding and grasping. Of course, anything on a computer is anything digital, children gravitate to. So we are working on that, and we are hoping that in this school year, we are expecting, because the award has already been done, our children in schools of focus will have access to that as an added resource to help them gain the critical numeracy skills that they must have to be successful.
And this is secondary school and primary school?
Secondary and primary school.
I saw where we would have done pretty well in the Caribbean, where CXC...
We did better than the Caribbean, as we are expected to. Right. We are the Caribbean nation that invests the most in education, and that's something throughout, no matter which government is in power, we invest a lot in education in Trinidad and Tobago. So it's expected that we will do better than the averages of the region. But we can't close our eyes to those who are not doing well.
Okay.
And that is why the school of focus, that is why that is there. Because they are undergoing a remedial education program. So, for example, we trained all of the Standard 5 and Form 1 and 2 math and English teachers in remedial math, remedial English, and remedial writing, so that they can understand how to teach and to reach the students who have the difficulties that they have. Some of them is just a lack of foundation. Because you would know, you're a parent. I am sure someone in your household spends time with your child.
Of course.
Sitting down, working through things, making sure homework is done and so on. There are many children who don't have that. And therefore, in the school, we have to give more. We have to provide more resources. We have to help. So in those schools, we have had an after-school program where they have free lessons on after school on an evening in the primary schools, 80 primary schools, to allow those children the opportunity to spend more time with their schoolwork. Those are the schools that we offer the vacation revision program in. Again, using the vacation period as a time for them to catch up in some of these critical skills. And the ones we are focusing on is math, English, and writing. Those are the fundamentals. So those children need more. And when you speak about equity in educational opportunity, we have to give them more. And so that's what this remedial education program is about in these schools of focus. That's why we are looking at the vision screening for them. We are looking at what happens after school for them. We are looking at what happens in the vacation. Some parents could pay for children to go to camps. These children need these opportunities. That's why the Vacation Vision Camp is there. So it's about really infusing these schools with what is required. That's why we train the teachers. We put learning support assistants in these schools as well. That's a resource to the principals. It's a help with supervision even, if a teacher is not there. So that we are trying to infuse these schools with resources that are required to give these children an even chance of success.
You know, I have 2 questions for you that I really want you to answer. I see the time has come to now on me, but I really want you to delve into these 2 questions. One, what is the ministry's, do you all have any policy in place for autistic children? That's one. And 2, if I sit here and don't ask this question, my nephew will be very upset with me. My nephew is a on-the-job
Training.
teacher. And he is going to do his degree, but he thinks that there's somewhat the ministry or there need to be a mesh where, like, because he has already doing the job, he should be able to go to school and do the job at the same time.
Okay, so I'll deal with the first issue, which is the
autistic
children and any child with special needs. So autistic children would fall under the category of students that the student support services are designed to assist. Of course, the first option is the inclusive policy, where once a child can succeed in the mainstream education system, we allow them to stay in that system rather than separate them into a special school. However, there are children who, based on their special needs, would be better served in a special school. So I'll deal with mainstream first. In the mainstream education system, some children, especially some autistic children, require an aid, a student aid, because it is a way for them to be able to integrate better within the school community and to be able to succeed in their classroom. We have over 400 aides that are present in the school system. A lot of them, over 300 of them, come from the OJT system. So we use those to augment what we have at the ministry. So those are present with the students in all of the classes, and they assist in that way. Do we need more? Is there a demand for more? Yes, there is. And so we are working with OJT to supply more of them within the school system. Outside of that, there are public special schools, government special schools. The demand, of course, for them is high. And so we have about 10 or 12 of them, I believe. And so our students can go to those special schools. Outside of that, the government pays for students to go to private special schools. So there are a number of private special schools, and we have students that the government pays the tuition for in these special schools. So I want to say to our parents who may have children with special needs, there are options available for the education of your children. And if you are not sure about how to go about it, please visit the education district offices. There are school supervisors stationed there, and the same information I'm giving here, they are supposed to give that to you and to assist you to get the child into an educational institution where their needs can be met. Right? So I'm saying that, and I'm saying that I know that there are some parents who don't have a good experience, and that is regretted, but the systems are in place. So please, avail yourselves of them. And if there are any issues, my number is 6816926. You can send me a WhatsApp. 6816926. You can send me a WhatsApp. And if there's anything I can do to unclog a system, however, the systems are in place, and there are persons whose job it is to assist you.
Beautiful.
Right? So that's the autistic children part of it. With regards to the teaching service, let me spend a little time explaining how it works. The Teaching Service Commission has the remit for the recruitment of teachers, hiring of teachers, disciplinary action for teachers, and so all of that is under transfer of teachers, is under the Teaching Service Commission. The system as it exists now is that when we require teachers for either primary school or secondary school, an advertisement will go out.
Okay.
People citizens are encouraged to apply in response to the advertisement. All of the processing will take place and the assessment will take place, and then the Teaching Service Commission has the final responsibility with regards to who is hired and so on. Of course, if we have persons that are already qualified, then persons who are not qualified will be at the much lower end of the scale in terms of being hired.
Right.
So that is why you will not find a teacher in a school being hired at this time who, for example, doesn't have a degree. because we have so many persons applying, more than can be absorbed into the system of persons who are qualified. So to answer your nephew,
have to go.
You have to be, you have to apply, and there are those who are already qualified in front of you. And of course, they will get the preference.
Minister, I want to thank you very much. I would have wanted to find out about the Venezuelans, but the time is on me. But,
well, I could probably do. So what we have, you can take a little question about the Venezuela, but let's deal with that. The process for registration of the migrant students is ongoing. We took a break during this time here because the primary school principals were on vacation, so it starts back in the first week of September. We have over 100 applicants, and quite a few of them, based on the eligibility requirements, have been successful, but they're in different stages of processing. So we have 23 who have already received their exemption and are able to attend schools, have been assigned. We have about 40 in the pipeline that should be able to get out there by the first week of school, and we are dealing with the others as they come in.
Thank you very much, Minister, for being with me today. I hope this is not going to be the last visit, because you have to come back to take calls.
Yes, I would have liked to take a couple of calls.
Yeah. Please and thanks.
I could say 15 minutes
15
after
minutes
the
after the
news.
news. Thank you very much.
Okay.
Trinidad and Tobago, so we're back with you. We're back with you, and I'm here with the Minister of Education. And we're going to take some calls, because we know that some of you have questions that you would like to ask, or you would like to commend the Minister on the hard work that she has been doing for the past 4 years, going into 5 years.
Yeah, into my 5th year now.
Wow. I know when you came in, I asked you, between the Ministry of Culture and the Ministry of Education, which one you enjoyed? And you said to me, this one, you enjoyed this one, but it's hard work.
Yeah, I enjoy both. They're two very different ministries in terms of what is required. This one, both front-facing ministries, both dealing with people. I think that's the underlying theme between the both of them. This one is a lot broader, because, you know, you're dealing with so many children, and everybody has a child or a grandchild or a cousin or a neighbor. So it's quite a lot, you know, but it's what we call to do.
I know.
As the Prime Minister says, hard work is for young people, right?
and we know you like hard work.
Oh, well.
Yeah. From back in the day.
I have a strong sense of duty, and I think that if you're called to do something, you do it to the best of your ability with God's help.
I know that. We grew up with that understanding. Mom and dad always taught us that.
Yeah, I can do all things
through
Christ who strengthens me.
Of course, I'm going to play a song by old Steve Green. Oh, man. You know who said to tell you hello?
Who?
Auntie Pat.
Auntie Pat. Which one? I have so many Pats.
Oh, Lord. I ain't going there with you, you know. You know what I'm talking about. I'm just not going there with you. But we have a foreign caller from New York.
Okay.
Calling in.
All right.
Hello, good afternoon, caller. Hello,
good afternoon.
Hi, good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon.
Yeah, quick question. My daughter-in-law had applied. Hello?
Go ahead, caller. We're hearing you.
Yeah, thanks very much. Yeah, my daughter-in-law had applied for the grant, the grant to buy books and stuff like that. And up to now, she hasn't received any information about the grant. So I was trying to inquire, where could she go to find out, or where could she call to find out what is the possibility? Because school is open next week, and up to now, she have not gotten the grant. I don't know if she's entitled or what, but so I just calling to find out whether there's a number.
What we'll ask is for the communications division to put up on our Facebook by this afternoon the email again and the number. It was there, but I'll ask them to refresh and put it up so that persons who have inquiries can use that, avail themselves of the email and the WhatsApp number to get some information. But just a reminder that there were more persons applying than were given the grant, so there are going to be some persons who would have applied and were not successful for various reasons.
So let me get that correct. It would be on the Ministry of Education Facebook website.
Facebook page, yes.
Caller?
Thank you very much.
Caller, you hear me? Caller, you hear me? Hello?
Yes, I am hearing.
All right, what you could do is if you could WhatsApp your daughter number to our WhatsApp line 4665391. You heard me? Hello? Right, just WhatsApp your daughter's number to that line.
My daughter-in-law.
Yeah, your daughter-in-law number. All right?
Thank you very much.
You're most welcome, sir.
I'll send a number to your WhatsApp line.
Yes.
Your WhatsApp number.
Yeah.
All right. Thanks very much.
Okay then. Thank you for calling from New York.
Yeah, bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Hello, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Pastor Google.
Hi, good afternoon, ma'am.
Yes, good afternoon, Minister.
Good afternoon.
Yes, so I must say, I think the government is doing an excellent job. And government, I mean all of you, you as Minister of Education. All the parents and the have to ensure that the children focus on study. The only thing they have
all right, I don't know why you're not coming through too clear. I don't know why.
You're not hearing.
You're not coming through too clearly. I don't know why. What's happening there? Try and call us back and see if yeah, try and call us back. Call us. Sorry about that. All right. So remember the numbers to call: 342-0081, 466-5391, 771-1791. You realize I ain't watching the ball. I do this too long, Minister. Hello, good afternoon.
Yeah, you can tell now.
No, you're still coming through a little bit.
You're gonna feedback from you. It's on your side.
No, you're breaking up as though your connection is terrible.
Well, maybe where I am then.
Yeah, maybe where you are.
Yeah, not a little better now.
You hear me better?
Yeah, you hear me a little better now. Go ahead.
Okay, so I'm still satisfied with the government system, with the educational system. My children went through that. My grandchildren is in the system right now, but my grandson and my granddaughter, and they're doing excellent, I must say. So I want the parents and they to let children focus on their studies. They can do other things after their studies because we are paying for that, meaning everybody, including their parents. And if they cannot take it up now when they get married or they're going to work, they wouldn't be able to do it. There's a lot of stress, and they, like you say, they're going to blame somebody, but you have to focus children on your schoolwork. It doesn't mean that my children don't like other things, or my grandchildren, yes, they like other things, but the books are important. And Minister, what I don't understand is why, my children never did extra lessons, let me put it that way, but why is it that teachers are giving extra lessons to the children they teach during the day? Thank you.
All right. Let's take another call for you answer the question, right? Hello, good afternoon.
Blessed be to you, Mr. Pastor Google and the Minister of Education. How are you to you all today?
Hi, good afternoon.
We're good.
Wonderful. This is a question I want to ask for quite a while. I am not in school. I passed that time, but I think what I am asking is basically understandable. There's a school, so long, maybe before 2015, who knows? And that is an old school. That is in Woodbrook, Anna Street. They call it Akal School. It's a Presbyterian school. The school had get probably old, whatever, and they break it down and they start to build. There's a frame of steel and decking pan on it. It's right at the corner, almost off Strawberry Road going into Anna Street. Opposite Amar, I think a TTT post. Between Robert Street and the main road. I think there is at Anna Street. And that is an old school. That was there when St. Crispin was there. And I think the Presbyterian people are saying somewhere down in Lucknow Street, where a church is there on the bank. And I want to know when the old minister in 2015 say he built 100 schools, how come that was not either finished or complete? Or if you could give some light on that, it would help me. Or, because of that, the understanding I would like to know.
Okay, caller, thank you very much.
Wonderful.
All right, let me deal with the extra lessons question first. There are some children that require extra help to be able to do what is needed for success. Some teachers do extra lessons outside of the school. Some offer classes within the school. In a government school, a teacher is not supposed to offer classes for pay within the school building,
Okay.
right? That is a clear thing that is not supposed to happen. But some teachers do offer assistance, some without any extra, just to help students. And the caller, when she spoke about the parents and the influence of the parents on the amount of work students do, that is one of the main things. Society has changed from when I was a child to now, and far less that person has grandchildren, so it would have changed from her time as well. In many cases, parents had more time. Life was simpler and slower. Children didn't have as many distractions as they have now. So their schoolwork is now competing with a lot more. And parents are also very busy. So sometimes what parents were able to do, they are not able to do now. And the focus students were able to place on their schoolwork, in some cases now, that's competing with everything else. So there are, different circumstances which require some children, not all, to be involved in extra lessons. And where that is required, as I said, it is not allowed on a school compound, a government school, for a teacher to charge for extra lessons on that compound, but this is a situation, and it does help quite a few children in some circumstances. Let me deal with the other issue of schools and the 100 schools. I want to make it very clear that in 2015, what we met, the PNM government would have met maybe 100 contracts for schools. In some cases, some of those schools had started, some had not started, and there was no funding to be able to pay for the building of the schools. Let me be clear, I would have said earlier that school repair, what we get on an annual budget for school repair is about $150 million. One school, one secondary school, the size of it, you see the huge size of a school, can cost approximately $150 to $200 million, one. So if you're speaking about a school construction program that is in the hundreds of schools, understand that the usual way this is managed is not within the budget, the annual budget of the ministry. You would have to find loan funding to apply to that. And in that order of 100 schools and so, you are looking at loan funding of $3 to $4 billion. So if you're going to start a program to construct schools, you have to have that money available to be able to do it. So that money, that arrangement was not made. So when the contracts were awarded for all of those schools, the ministry could not pay the contractors because there was no money arranged. So what happened at the time is that the government was faced with the choice of going into debt and borrowing that amount of money to finish all of the contracts that had been awarded and the schools that were in different states of completion. The government at that time could not do that. That was not a responsible decision to be made because, of course, the government balances the education budget with everything else. And therefore, what we did at the time, we regularized the contracts and we started doing the schools in phases. Right. So there would have been 13 schools in phase 1. Those were completed at a cost of about $400 million. We're into phase 2 now. There were about 8 schools in that phase. We're still completing 3 of those schools. The others have been completed, and that's another $400 million. So there'll be a phase 3 where we take another set of these schools and apply funding, and that's available from loan funding to be able to complete. So that is the stepwise progression. So the Woodbrook Presbyterian School is one of the schools where a contract would have been awarded, no funding was available to complete it, and therefore it will be completed within the different phases by which we are approaching the completion of that construction program.
Okay. Hello, good afternoon.
Yeah, afternoon, Pastor Google.
Aye.
Afternoon, Madam Minister. Thanks for your service all the years. True, ma'am.
Thanks, good afternoon.
I have 2 simple questions. I would like to find out the state of the schools, where first repairs. I understand, and thank you for the explanation on the building of schools, but the state of school repairs, seeing that the term beginning is upon us, and also, I would have thought, please enlighten me, I would have thought that as the school closed, for the August holidays, that repairs would have started one time and we'd have get schools on time and things, but somehow like that don't happen. Can you please explain? Thanks very much.
Let me indicate that, you see, even before the vacation started, the allocation we had for school repairs was already expended. So that $150 million we got at the start of the fiscal, that was expended by the time it came to the vacation period. So we would have had to seek further funding to be able to complete works in the vacation. And let me say it again, maybe the caller didn't hear me at the start of the interview. School repairs does not only happen during the vacation period. School repairs is an ongoing thing. So even during the school term, there's always repair work going on because the schools, we have over 800 schools. They're in various stages in terms of their age, and they need a lot of attention. So we do not have what it takes to do all the repairs to the schools as we would like. It would take us about $2 billion. And I'm using that figure on the basis of the requests we have from principals all over the country for different things to be done on their schools. So what the ministry has to do is choose the most important priority projects that will cause a school not to be able to function, and we will focus on those first. So sewer problems, electrical problems, plumbing problems, those are the three major things that we pay the most attention to and give the most priority. So when the vacation time came, we would have prioritized what available funding we had and started work. So we had about 20 million available to us. And I'm saying 20 million, and that is not a lot. In fact, based on what needed to be done, we needed 190 million. So I'm trying to contextualize the reality. So we had 20 million. We started work with that to see how we can address the most critical issues in schools. And then some more was made available to us in Ministry of Finance, and so we embarked on more. But let me emphasize, school repair does not only happen in the vacation time. It is spread throughout the school year. As a matter of fact, we had 27 schools that have been undergoing serious renovation works for over a year now. When the school term is going on, the work happens on an afternoon and on weekends, and when the vacation time comes, they ramp up the rate of repair. So it is not that the ministry just sits and says, this is vacation time, we're not doing any work. We started the work based on what funding was available, and we have continued and will continue. So as we head to the opening of schools on Monday, work is continuing apace even now to ensure that the critical things are done, and whatever is outstanding after that, that will go on as it usually does during the school term, on afternoons and on weekends.
Okay. Hello, good afternoon, caller. Hello, good afternoon. Okay.
Me?
Hi, good afternoon, caller.
Yes, can you hear me? I'm saying good afternoon,
yes,
sir.
I'm hearing
and good afternoon to the minister.
Good afternoon.
Right. I want the minister, please, to address a situation that I've discovered in some primary schools. I have discovered, I am a retired teacher. I used to teach in infants at one time before I moved on to secondary. But what I see happening now is that teachers are giving infant one children a whole lot of assignments where the parent has to do the work, not the child. For example, if they're doing something on fruits or topic on fruits, the parent has to write out a whole lot of things, go get it typed, go get it printed, get a bibliography. And I want to know, because when I was doing my teacher practice, I had to teach in order to pass my exams. And I want to know, why are teachers now giving children a whole lot of work to do at home and saying this is for course marks? Some children do have access to a whole lot of things at home where they can do their work. Why not ask the children to bring in things and let them do it in the presence of the teacher so that the teacher can mark them fairly and see that it is the child that is doing the work and not the parent? Because too many times I'm seeing children come in with a whole lot of things to get done at home, and in the infant 1 and infant 2 classes. I'm not talking about secondary and the 4th standard and 5th standard. So no, I'm talking about in the first year group. I find parents, to be That must be addressed.
Thank you very much.
Well, two scenarios there. One, there may be need for increased teacher training in terms of how to design projects and how to structure projects, because it's important for children to have these experiences in terms of putting things together and synthesizing information and doing projects. That's one. On the flip side, though, sometimes for parents it's easier to do a project than to lead a child through a project. And I mean, I'm not speaking for every teacher or every project, but in some cases where the requirement is for a parent to lead a child through a project, a parent may just find it very easy to just do it quickly and hand it in. Of course, this does not meet the requirements because the child doesn't get the benefit of it. So what you're saying there in terms of, a teacher structuring a project such that they are sure a child is doing it, that is, I think, very important, because you may find that some parents may not understand how to lead a child through a project. So that may be an area where the school may want to help the parents to understand what is the difference between leading a child through a project and doing the project for the child. And the other thing may be that the ministry can look into training of the teachers in terms of project creation and design, so that the teachers create projects that must be done by the students, and the students will get the benefit of it, and they structure it in such a way that they are sure that it is the child who is really doing the project and not the parent.
Let's take a call.
Last one, eh?
Hello, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Pastor Google.
Hi, good afternoon.
Yeah, good afternoon, Minister.
Good afternoon.
Minister, I want to congratulate you on the Ministry of Education for the work done to the children of Trinidad and Tobago, and particularly the work done for children who are in challenging circumstances. I refer to the remediation program, the vacation remediation program, and the after-school remediation program. I refer to the concept of moving to bursaries, where there's a question of those who are financially able, or unable to meet the challenges, they're given that support. But my concern, Minister, is, having done all that work, is the best kept secret? It is because I am a former educator. It is because I'm spent many years in education that I follow this. But the rank and file people on the streets are not aware. So I hope that this interview with Pastor Google is not a one-off. It's not a pentamat. But there is need to educate the ordinary man about what is going on, particularly for those children in challenging circumstances. Thank you for taking my call, Pastor Google.
Thank you.
Well, what I can say is, I will do my best to be a little more available, even though I think I am quite available. I really do interact a lot with the press and so on. But the fact is that the Ministry of Education is a very broad ministry. There's a lot going on. So sometimes you're speaking about one thing, but there are a million other things happening at the same time. So I take the advice and I'll do my best. It's just that there is so much to literally be done that it takes a lot to also do the other part. But advice well noted and taken, and I will do my best to be to speak a little more about all that's happening at the Ministry of Education.
So what I think we would try to do next time, advisor, what we would try to do is for you to come with some more of the achievements of the ministry, because you give a lot of information today. I know that a lot of the listeners are going to listen back on YouTube, because you have over 900 something people listening right now, and it's growing. But what we will try to do is, next time I have you, for you to come with a lot of your projects that you were able to accomplish. Because as the caller rightfully said, I didn't even know that, what he just shared there.
And we do a lot of speaking, we do a lot, but as I guess it just needs to be kept current, and so we'll be back, and
because you come on ministry business, we even touch your constituency.
No, shout out all my St. Anne's people. All my St. Anne's.
And the people on Laventry Rule, always locked onto the street 919 FM, the dial don't move, the dial don't move. So, Minister, I want to thank you. I know that you have a busy schedule. I see that I call her hole in here, I don't know. We call her, gosh. Caller, I'm begging for you, but you have to be really quick. All right? Hello, good afternoon.
Hi, good afternoon.
Afternoon.
See you and the Minister.
Good afternoon, good afternoon.
A question, right, concerning the book grant. I am a single parent, and I was successful. I get an email on the 8th of July stating that I was successful. And since that, I haven't received no kind of information, so I was calling to find out more about it.
We're going to put the information again to WhatsApp and to email on the website. That's going to go up this afternoon. Please look out, sorry, on our Facebook page. Please look out for it and send a query. I did apologize before on behalf of those who are administering the grant, because they are really flat out trying to ensure that they complete the last set. We have sent out over 19,000 of the 20,000 approved grants, and so they may not have been responsive as you would like. So we are going to make a special plea to them at this point to take the queries and take the WhatsApp so that persons can get feedback. But if you haven't gotten yet, as I said, we have 20,000 persons. We are at the tail end now of just doing the last sets. And depending on, I'm not sure if you had a bank account, but we also have checks at the district offices that have not been collected yet. And persons, sometimes you're trying to call persons, you're not getting through to them. That's a real problem. So please, I'm not sure which category you fall into, but please, the information will be on the Facebook page this afternoon. Check for it and avail yourself of it. And I am going to speak to those who are in charge of manning it to ensure that they are responding to persons so they can be directed. Because we have checks at the offices waiting for collection and persons are not collecting at this time. So we will do that to ensure.
See, it's a good thing I take this caller. Caller, is it okay if I take your number?
Yes, no problem.
All right. Okay. See, it's a good thing I beg for you.
Right.
Thanks for listening.
Yes, thank you so much.
You're most welcome. So,
Okay,
Minister,
you will have a...
same to you. So, Minister, you see a good thing I beg for the caller.
Yes. Good thing.
All right. I want to thank you again for coming on the Street 99 FM. And the doors are open. You know that the door open.
I know.
You
I
know
have to
that
lift
the
my
doors
head up
open.
from the work and come back again, right?
Yeah.
So I promise that I will come back again, and it would not be too long again. Before the end of the year, I'll be back. Right?
Thank you very much.
And we will chat again, maybe around budget time, after budget, there. We could chat again.
Thank you
Right?
very much again for coming. So, Trinidad and Tobago, I hope that you all got the information. Before Minister go, Minister, how much people got the grant again?
Over 19,000 already.
Minister, how much money you all give out?
That's $19 million.
Thanks, sir.
Blessings.
Thank you very
Blessings,
much.
everyone. Have a wonderful afternoon. Thank you for having me, and I'm looking forward to coming back.
Thank you very much again for being here.